Do you think that whiskey judges are simply born with a superior palate and that you will never be able to develop the palate and be able to taste all those different nuances in a whiskey? I'm here to give you some tips on how to do that. Hey, welcome back to Whiskey Gal. Thanks for joining me again. And if you're new here, welcome. This channel is all about the basics of whiskey. If you're trying to grow your palate, if you're trying to learn new things and kind of get into that world of whiskey, I'm here to make it approachable for you. Okay, it is true that everyone is born with different palates. Some people are born with highly sensitive palates. Those are usually the pickier eaters, the ones that like a little bit more salt on their food, and they're highly sensitive to anything bitter. That's where their baseline is. Another baseline, of course, is completely opposite that. They are the non-tasters, you would say. So they can like almost everything. Nothing is too crazy for them on their palate, and they usually like really spicy, flavorful foods. And of course, then there's everybody in the middle that can range from either side. And the majority of the world is in between those two, but then also the environment will change your palate as well. Whatever foods you ate while you were growing up, that is definitely going to change your palate and grow it into whatever it is today. Now, how do you develop your palate? There's a few suggestions I can give you. So my first tip is really the fun one. You really are going to have to try more whiskey. Yes, you have to drink more. Yay! But it's the only way you're going to be able to expand your palate. If you have whiskey only once in a while, it's always going to be a shock and something new. But if you have it more consistently, then you are going to open up that palate and be able to understand and experience more flavors. So you really do have to try more. My second tip, now focus on what you're drinking, break it down. I mean, I went through all about how to taste a whiskey on my second to last video. So definitely go into that. It kind of breaks it down. So you smell it, you gotta taste it slowly, and you gotta think about what you're tasting. So is it smooth? Is it sharp? Is it intense? Or is it just really soft? It's easy to drink. Does it have a real mouth feel to it? Is it kind of does it coat your mouth a little bit more, or is it just so light it kind of goes away as soon as you're done drinking it? Now you can also think about what you're tasting as far as flavors go. Is it sweet, or is it more on the bitter side? Is it smoky, or is it kind of have an earthiness to it, which is more like a peat? And sometimes whiskeys will change as you drink it too, right? So it'll start off sweet, and then it will kind of get a little bit more well-rounded with all the saltiness and some of the little bitter notes coming in, the fruit, and it will have a finish as well. And so it can change on you as you're drinking it. And then once you swallow it, you can have actually other finishes coming up and other flavors, and that would be more of a long finish, right? It doesn't go away quickly, which is really nice. My third tip, of course, is try it neat first. If you're going into whiskey tasting and always adding ice right away, you aren't going to get the full experience of that whiskey, okay? Some of those flavors in there will be muted, and then if you put water in there as well, or ice, that's going to be melting. You're going to be muting those flavors and watering it down, and that's not really what we want to do. That's not how you can get the best and full experience. Ultimately, this is all about you. You want to be able to enjoy your whiskey, and that's all I care about. Thanks for joining me today. I will see you next week. Sláinte.